Hey everyone, it's Dr. Renee, your favorite allergy and asthma expert, media doc, and motivator. Welcome to the Ask Dr. Renee Show, where we inspire you to live the life you deserve. Each week, I sit down with incredible guests who are making an impact in health, wellness, entertainment, and beyond to share real stories, real advice, and real inspiration. Whether we're talking about thriving with chronic illness, building your dream career, or simply taking better care of yourself, this is your space to learn, laugh, and level up because your best life starts right now, right here on the Ask Dr. Renee Show. Today, I'm so excited to welcome a very special guest, Grammy-winning singer and songwriter and humanitarian, Raheem DeVaughn. Known to fans as the Love King, Raheem has blessed us for years with soulful hits like Woman, Guess Who Loves You More, and Customer. But beyond the music, he's also using his platform to make a powerful impact in our communities, partnering with organizations like Gilead Sciences to raise HIV awareness and promote prevention, especially among Black women. We're talking today about love, legacy, and using your voice for change. So you already know this is going to be a great conversation. Raheem, welcome to the Ask Dr. Renee Show. Raheem, thank you so much and welcome to the Ask Dr. Renee Show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, of course. You've always used your music and your platform to uplift and inspire people. So let's start with this. What did you want to be when you grew up?
Absolutely. I think I wanted to be an entertainer, a singer, um, and ironically, a radio personality. It was something I was always fascinated with, growing up, listening to the Quiet Storm here in the DC, Maryland, in the DMV
Yeah.
area, as we call it.
Okay. Now, did you sing in church or something?
Somewhat. I was more like a recluse, you know, singer as a kid.
Okay.
I kind of grew out of that shell, like transitioning, out of high school into college. Yeah, that's when I
Okay.
really started to pursue, singing and express about my interest for it, like publicly.
Okay. Now what college did you go to?
I went to Copper State College for a few semesters. Yeah,
Okay.
Copper
And
State University. Yeah,
did you study voice or?
no, I
Okay.
didn't.
Okay.
No, not at
Okay.
all. Yeah.
Okay. So what was the fallback plan?
I didn't have one, I never had a
That's the way to
backup
go.
plan. Yeah, I never had a backup plan. This is something that I was just relentlessly hell bent on seeing happen, and here we are, right?
Right. Manifestation, of course. I
Absolutely.
totally get it. So you built an incredible career blending soul, R&B, and purpose. Who or what inspired your passion for both music and activism?
Um, growing up listening to artists like Marvin Gaye and Bob Marley in particular, who um, were not known just for being like, top 40 artists, uh, and mainstream R&B artists, Bob who like totally made a 360 transition, into socially conscious music. Uh, it was always fascinating to me how you can straddle both lines, make songs about relationships or intimacy, but then also make songs that, reflect upon a time. So, uh, it's something that I coined myself in doing early as a writer and early as an artist, being in different groups and being part of different musical communities and hitting the open mics, and it was just always important for me to have something to say.
That and so you I know you've won how many Grammys have you won?
I won one Grammy through the project that I did with Jay Ivy a few years back, an album that I worked on for him. And I've had what five nominations to date.
Okay, okay. So did you when you thought about, because you wanted to be an entertainer, were you one of those people that prepared your speech and was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna say if I get that opportunity and
Now I probably would have just spoke from the heart. Of course, I would
okay,
probably have people that I want to thank, and
right.
whether it's notes that you jot down or a little memo in the iPhone, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, I probably would definitely speak from the heart,
Yeah.
for the
Now,
most part.
so you said you worked with Jay Ivy, so I know you're a writer as well. So did you figure out right away that you wanted to be a writer, or did the singing come first? Which came first?
I always knew that writing was important because, uh, of the fact that writer gets you ownership. So always been on ownership, but bigger than that, I didn't want to be the writer solely for the ownership. I wanted to be a writer because I wanted to be a prolific writer. I wanted to be a great writer, you know. I wanted to be able to challenge myself constantly, tell the story of love or life or whatever it is, the subject that I want to touch on. So, um, you know, me putting in those hours and working towards the 10,000 hours of, you know, and the masterfulness of what it is that I do. I think it's just a natural process, you know. I was always
Mhm.
curious about it. I was, you know, early in my career, you know, or you know, as a child, I was always somebody who read the credits and wanted to see who did what and understood the importance of that.
So, so going forward, um, is there any artist that you'd like to write for, or you'd like to write with, or collaborate
Yeah, I
with?
mean, I'm open to working with whomever. I mean, I think definitely like Babyface would be great to work with, you know, being as though that, you know, he's been the inspiration, you know, definitely, especially early in my career, just like, you know, studying the art of songwriting. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis would be great. Um, any of the like, you know, songwriters, you know,
Yeah,
Jermaine Dupri,
right,
um, you know, being around greatness, I would imagine that iron sharpens iron, you know?
right.
So yeah.
So when people describe Raheem DeVaughn, they often mention love, healing, and community. So how do you define living the life you deserve? That's my mantra: living life you deserve.
Oh, I mean, I think you know that what we manifest and you know what we work the goals that we work towards afford us the life that it is that we deserve. You know what I mean? And you know, it's about putting in that hard work in. You know, living the dream in real time. You know, I think that those things have been able to have been essential, and you know, in my success, you know, believing and you know and knowing yourself. More important than even believing is like knowing that you can do it. You know, I think that been great ingredients for me.
So for you, I mean, you came out in that neo soul era, and how have you been able to stay relevant? Because I mean, I know you tour a lot because I see that I live in Chicago. I see you're in Chicago quite a bit. But how have you been able to stay relevant? Because a lot of people, they came out and then they just fall off and we don't hear from them again. And
Well, I think one of staying, you know, it's my desire to stay in love with it. That's a conscious decision, you know what I mean? Like, you know, as long as I love something, enjoy doing something, it makes it easy to do it, you know? You know, I think that, you know, having a level of competitiveness, you know, even if it's with yourself and just challenging yourself to see what it is you can do next, is important, you know? I came out probably a decade after, technically after the neo soul era, you know, when you talk about artists um, like Erica Badu and you know Kedar Massenberg who coined the
the
neo
term,
soul
yeah,
phrase and the term era, and then you know sought out artists like Erica and the late great D'Angelo who we just lost.
yeah,
You know, and so many more. You know, Indy Irie and Granique and you
Chico
know
DeBarge, and
Algebra and Chico DeBarge and just like that whole vibe, that whole movement. It was a movement. It was a vibe. You know. Uh, uh, Kedar in particular, I would imagine that he had a vision for what it is he wanted to associate himself with and what he felt like was missing from the game and from you know and from the artistry, and then he had to go out and find these unique artists that he felt like could deliver, and then say like, let me see what happens, you know, when we put them in the room, you know, together or you know, with the likes of you know artists like you know the Roots and Amir, who was very you know Amir from the Roots,
yeah,
who was looked upon as like a OG and a big homie at the time. I would imagine, you know, musically, um, and it just kind of just it just meshed, you know. So you know it definitely there's a phrase that was coined like 10 years ahead, you know,
right,
at that point, it's like it's a staple, you know, and it's a
yeah.
bar. It set a bar, like definitely you know, it set a bar musically for, you know, what came after that and what's even happening now, you know, as you know, I'm a firm believer that history repeats itself.
Exactly, exactly. I think there are a lot of the younger generation now that would fit into neo soul, even if
And that would be,
you
yeah,
know,
and that would be and it would be you know, it's gonna it causes a resurgence, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, people want to go back and check it out. So I didn't ask you. So how did you get discovered?
Oh man, I started, you know, in the DC area doing open mics, things of that nature. Was part of two different groups, Urban Ave 31 and the Crossroads. You know, while pursuing those independent, you know, music movements and enjoying making music, socially conscious music, and fusing it with R&B and hip hop and soul. I also took a job to sing background for Genuine, which landed me in the same management that he had at the time. And you know, I still always had an interest in being a solo artist, and you know, and doing R&B and doing soul music as well. And you know, really when the opportunity came, it wasn't that I was necessarily looking for it. It came looking for me. And you know, the saying of like staying ready, so you have to get ready is a real thing. You know, my managers at the time, Jerry Vines and Cliff Jones, took me for a meeting to New York with Job Records. And you know, needless to say, it went very well. You know, and in 2002, I signed my first record deal with Job Records. So first publishing deal with Zomba Music Group. And you know, I haven't looked back since. You know, I became an independent artist in 2010.
Okay.
And you know, first album came out in '05, which was The Love Experience, which we're in the midst of celebrating the 20th anniversary of that right now.
Oh wow,
Yeah, so just celebrated the 20th anniversary back in June 20th to be exact. Then my first album came out, The Love Experience.
wow, 20 years. Wow, time flies because it
Yes,
doesn't seem like it was that long ago.
absolutely.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Well, congratulations. Like I said, this is, I mean, longevity. This
Thank
is
you.
wonderful. Because, and I think I told you when I saw you this summer, but you were my very first celebrity interview on Periscope back in the day.
Oh, that's cool, cool. Here we are again.
Exactly. And I was like,
Yeah,
I will never forget that. And I was like, oh my goodness. And actually, after you, and it was at Essence. After you, we ended up doing a bunch of stuff with India Re,
yeah,
like next year at Essence, like, a bunch of stuff because she had a whole lot of activations and stuff that year. And she was on this main stage and stuff. So, yeah. But yeah, you were the first. So,
dope, 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 dope. Yeah.
so let's talk about, you talked about activism, and I'm really excited because this summer, that's why we saw each other. You have this amazing partnership with Gilead to raise awareness about HIV prevention in our community, especially among Black women, which are amongst, I think, the biggest demographic of your fans.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so, what inspired you to get involved in this initiative? And can you tell us
Uh,
about the initiative?
yeah, I have a foundation. It's called the Love Life Foundation. I've been involved in the community for some time now. It was established back in 2012. You know, so whether it's domestic violence that we're creating awareness about and fighting, or you know, HI in this case HIV. Uh, you know, the mission is still the same, to get the messaging out there, to love on community. You know, to wrap a hug around community. And you know, there's strength in numbers, but there's also strength in knowledge, you know, and having the information that's out there, you know. So, you know, partnering with Gilead for the second year has been an honor and a pleasure. Last year, you know, I did a tour, uh, which we you know, they had a demo of people that they wanted to reach, and as far as community was concerned. And you know, talking over you know, getting the messaging out, getting the statistics out to over 30,000 women. And we superseded the expectation. I superseded the expectation, you know, in 30 days or less. You know, we were able to reach over 47,000 women,
Oh, wow.
you know, yeah, in a little over 30 days, you know, give or take. And you know, that it's been great so far. It's still an uphill battle, you know, being as though that Black women make up for more than 50% of the new cases, you know, testing positive here in United States currently. You know, and just knowing the numbers from state to state, um, again, has been able to do a lot of work on the ground, and virally as well. And I look at what I do uh, a party at times with a purpose. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? So to be able to uh, combine, my artistry with things that I want to, talk about and be proactive on, as it relates to community.
So HIV, as you said, continues to disproportionately affect Black women. Why do you believe it's important for artists and influencers like yourself to speak out and get the conversation started?
I mean, we got the eyes and the ears on us, So, and again, I've said countless times you have to be Raheem DeVaughn to care about, to generally care about people and to care about what's happening in your community, Um, movements are birthed every day. So this is just me doing my part. If I wasn't who I was as a public figure, I still would be doing what I do.
And we appreciate it. Many people still face stigma around HIV. What message do you want to send to those who may be afraid to get tested or to talk openly about prevention?
Well, that's what we're here to do is break down the stigmas, with knowledge of what's going on with you, and having great sexual health practices. We can fight HIV. We can stop it, and also educating yourself on PrEP, and whether it's for you, talking to your primary care physician, about PrEP and the benefits, and the myths of who takes it and what it's for, which it being a preventative medication,
Right.
that can prevent you from catching HIV. See what works for you. I often tell anyone who's watching, you can go to healthysexuals.com to find out more about PrEP and to find out more about what I'm doing and what we're doing to fight HIV, to fight HIV.
And we'll include that link definitely so everyone will see it. But we do have the ticker at the bottom is your website so everyone can know. They can go to lovelifefoundationdmv.org to get more information about all the great work you're doing. But I also want to make sure that everyone understands PrEP is actually preventative medication that you can take, and there's different forms. There's pills, there's shots, but different. It's medication you can take that will prevent you from contracting HIV. If you are having sex without a condom, obviously.
That's correct. Yeah, or what they say, oral and injectables that are
Yep.
available. Yes.
Yeah. So you and there's like I said, it's crazy. They're doing research all the time, and they went from having to take pills more frequently. Now they're getting it where you only have to take things quarterly. They're
Yeah,
working on where you only take it once a year. So please talk to your primary care physician and see if this is something that would be beneficial to you and your loved one, because it is something that is really important, and it's really, really, really beneficial in helping us to lower and hopefully get rid of HIV, but really lower the numbers, especially in our community that is being so highly affected. So, at your concerts and your community events, you're sharing information about HIV prevention. What has the response been like from your fans in the community?
it's been great. It's been great. Being on tour and doing a meet and greet, and we had a entire had a really cool scan the QR code movement, and I can't tell you how many people have like thanked me and pulled me to the side and said that whether it's because they lost a loved one, maybe whether they've been affected or impacted directly or indirectly. The feedback and the love and the appreciation has been overwhelming, and of thank yous and just like just different conversations that I've had. It lets me know that that the work is not in vain.
That's awesome, and I know that you also, because we can't forget about our Black men, of course, and but I know you did some initiative in mental health with Black men
Yes.
recently. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, yeah. So my dad, who I lost, a little over 3 years ago now, who, most of his adult life, he suffered with mental health, and was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia.
Okay.
And so I know about mental health, firsthand, being a caregiver for him up until the time. that he passed. It's been my mission now in life, to talk about that and be verbal about it and to advocate for those who have mental health illnesses and to also uh spread the word and create awareness and lobby for new laws and policies that would benefit mental health patients in a form, in a case of like a crisis and
Hmm.
not being, don't just call 911.
Right, right, right. I just saw a video recently about policemen not handling people properly who have mental health issues that you can't see everybody's disabilities,
Yeah,
and you don't know, and but you have to be able to de-escalate situations without with the proper tools. And unfortunately, a lot of the servicemen do not have the proper tools to take care of people. And so that is really important, especially changing these laws and getting things on the books so that they can understand exactly what to do. I did not know that you were also a caregiver. That's another topic that I've talked about. I mean, constantly. I am a caregiver myself. I'm actually
hmm
not at my house right now.
okay,
I'm actually
yeah,
in another state with my parents now. But
yeah,
I'm a caregiver for my father.
hmm
And so I know that is it is very daunting. We have my father has vascular dementia, so it's not paranoid schizophrenic, but dementia is a different kind of mental health issue in
yeah, for
itself.
sure, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So yeah, I commend you and condolences to you for losing your father, but thank you for speaking out because, as you know, in our Black community, mental health is a hush hush thing, first of all, but then as a Black man, mental health is really like, why would I need to go talk to somebody? And, so that is great that you were talking about it because we need to normalize that conversation the way that, the other people in the world normalize it. It's not a big deal that everyone has a therapist, but in our community, it's like, oh no, they're going to call me crazy. They're going to label me. And no, you should go talk to somebody. And I think with HIV, it's also there's a mental health thing there too because that's part of the stigma with people that don't want to go get tested, but they know that they've been not practicing safe sex and they might possibly have contracted it, but there's something, a barrier there that's like, no, I can't, I don't want to find out, but it could be beneficial.
Yeah, I
The
agree.
Black community, yeah, go ahead.
No, I said I agree with you 200%.
Yeah. But the Black community has deep cultural ties to faith and family, and sometimes that is what gives us the whole stigma. So, how do we begin to shift that narrative so that we have compassion and we empower ourselves to have these conversations? Because I feel like these HIV conversations should be had in the church as well as mental health conversations.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree. Definitely. Um, you know, working, with the churches I'm a firm believer that it's a saying, I have it, prayer without action is blasphemy. So whether that action is
Like that.
happening in the church or whether it's happening, in the barbershops and nail salons, have to have, unfortunately, you have to have gatherings and, you know, sometimes you have to have gatherings in very unique places. You know what
We
I
have to
mean? I
meet people
think
where they are.
yeah, it's like yeah, meet people where they are. Community is like God's work. You know what I mean? I would imagine. Right? So, just like the word says in terms of like where two or three gather. You know what I mean? We doing like God's work. So, you can. I think that thinking out the box unconventionally, uh, having allies and other artists and peers who like myself care about love on community. I'm not because I'm not the only one, right?
Right.
I think all of these things are vital in the fight.
So, lastly, I just want to make sure you tell us more about the Love Life Foundation and what you've been doing and what you continue to do with that. And then, if you have any shows or any new projects coming up, please let us know.
Yeah, of course, you can go to Love Life Foundation, DMV.org, to make a donation to support any of the initiatives. Some of our other initiatives are the Textbook Scholarship Fund, which we provide books and supplies for the first year of college for different students. Which with their plethora of students helped over the decade, as well as Christmas is coming up, so we'll be doing gifts and turkeys and things for Thanksgiving, for those that are either displaced or just having a hard time. Of course, the fight against HIV and AIDS, the fight against domestic violence, and making our youth aware of what domestic violence is, and talking to them about conflict resolution, which is a very important thing, for all ages and all generations, and so much more. Again,
Mhm.
you can go to lovelifefoundationdmv.org, not only to make a donation, but to just familiarize yourself with some of our other initiatives, that we're in the fight against. Uh, yeah.
We appreciate that. And you mentioned the youth. What advice would you give a young person that's interested in doing what you do, about using their platform for good? And maybe they want to become, the next iteration of Raheem DeVaughn.
Yes, I mean, well, there's nothing you can't do now, right? With Chat GPT, right? So I would say, so I would say, like, educate yourself on what it is you want to do. Join local foundations, find the movements, become part of community, understand what it is to become an activist. And the first thing of one of the first steps in becoming an activist is you got to be active, right? So so mobilize, strategize, and then take it to the streets, take it to the internet, take it to the community.
So, how do you balance the artistry and the advocacy
I mean, they kind of move
together?
parallel, yeah,
Okay.
together in parallel. You know what I mean? Um, it's about alignment for me, and so when you're moving like parallel, it makes it very it's very easy. It's not a complicated thing.
So, you had mentioned you were a caregiver, and we talked about mental health. What does self care look like for Raheem DeVaughn?
Proper rest, doing what you love, not allowing people to stress you out. You know, um, knowing how to say no. You know,
That's
I
very
think
important.
those some cute, some crash course key tips right there.
Yeah, that's very important. So you're helping breaking stigmas and starting healing conversations in our community. So what legacy do you hope to work towards leaving behind?
I
Your
mean,
work.
I'm building it in real time, I'm building it in real time. I'm still in love with music. I'm still in love with the idea of community work, and being part of the movement that enriches, that helps to heal and educate, my people, our people, and community as a whole. And I'm enjoying my new career path, in radio as well. So I'm just taking all of those things in stride and just building what I guess we call a legacy.
Now, where can we hear you on the radio?
I am on the radio Monday through Friday, on 96.3 WHUR. I have the number one nighttime music show in the DMV. Uh,
So
being
those of
being the
us
new
outside of the DMV, how can we access
Yeah,
this?
yeah, being the new voice of the original Quiet Storm, you can just download the free 96.3 WHUR app on Android or the iPhone, and you can listen, according to your time zone. But I'm on the air from 7:30 to midnight East Coast Standard Time, Monday through Friday.
Nice. Congratulations. And definitely
Thank
we
you.
will put that link in the notes as well. So
Thank you.
finally, how can your fans and our viewers support your mission besides Love Life Foundation DMV.org, both through your music and advocacy? So you, like I said, you covered the advocacy. So music wise, how can we support you?
Well, I got the 20 Lessons of Love tour, just ramping up to happen, this fall and winter. You can take to my Instagram in particular, or official website to check out those dates and see where you can, come catch me playing train or automobile. If we're not in your city, we'll be in a city near you. And again, that's for the 20 Lessons of Love tour. Primarily at the city winery. So if you're in a city where there's a city winery, you want to check the calendar, check the schedule, because I would love for you to pull up on me. It's gonna be a night of love and memory lane, and going down memory lane of the catalog of music. And also, there'll be community work involved as well. We
Oh,
touch
nice.
we touch the city, while we there. So I can't wait to see y'all real soon.
Oh, awesome. That is wonderful. Thank you so much. This has been amazing. And we will look for, I'll look for you in Chicago. I think it's in December. So I'm excited. And yeah, we will check you out. And thank you so much for the work you do because it is so, so important. And unfortunately, as I'm sure you know this, especially living in the DMV, you know,
Yeah,
the climate in this country right now is a
yeah,
little suspect. And
yeah,
especially when it comes to healthcare to people that look like us.
yeah,
So it's really important that we get this work in because if we don't take care of ourselves, we clearly know that no one else is going to do it for us. So thank you so much. And please continue to live the life you deserve because you are doing an amazing job of it. And I hope everyone will follow and keep up with what he is doing. And please, I mean, if you can't afford to go to a concert, at least try and do some community work to help spread this amazing message because mental health is important and we've got to get rid of HIV. It is an epidemic. It's still around because a lot of people are like, oh, well, no one's talking about it anymore. No, it's still here and
yeah,
it's actually worse than ever. So please, please, please continue to pay attention because he is definitely one to watch and somebody that we need to cheer for because he is trying to help all of us collectively. So until next time, thank you so much, everyone.